I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. It's Friday.
Going green at all costs. Is it worth it?
Yeah. That is. Yeah. We are going green at all costs.
At all costs.
2050, no more natural gas, no more coal, no more AI, no more heat in your house. Yeah. But at least you'll have a ton of solar panels. By the way, I was out in Bennett the other day where some of those solar panel projects are being built, and it's huge. I mean, huge acreage. And what's wild to me, and Bill, you brought this up, is that once you do that, that land is just like totally used up. You can't.
It's foul. You can't do anything with it.
You can't do anything with it other than maybe if you're a little bird that lives on the ground. Now you have some shade.
Exactly.
Other than that land is just gone.
See, that's the problem that I have, and again, I'm much more amenable to green energy than you are, but the problem I've got are things like large solar farms and those types of installations, because to me, that's a large environmental cost of going green, and I am not yet convinced that that's worth it, that changing large acreage of land to just be sun absorption devices. I don't think one is the best use of the land. Two is the best use of where we place solar panels. I think there are other ways. Like, to me, it is the same as if we would decide to put a wind farm down the middle of I-25, going from north to south through. And I'm not talking about there in the median. I'm talking about down the lanes, like middle lane, all of a sudden becomes wind farms, and you can get into the middle lane, but every half mile or so, you got to get back out, and we're just going to drop them right there. That impact of what happens there, and again, it's an imperfect analogy, but that's what I see with the solar farms, is that you're placing and you're taking this portion of the land and saying we can't do anything else with it. I get that it can be a financial benefit for those individuals that own the land, but that's the best we can do. The best thought that we've had as far as to produce this are these large solar panels that sit on the ground. I mean, I think that we could probably get a bunch of third graders together and come up with more inventive ideas.
You know, I've been to a fracking rig. I've watched a drilling operation take place. I've seen these solar arrays over hundreds of acres. For instance, Elbert County, 600 acres is going to be used for solar development. When you go to a fracking rig, they can get a lot of oil and gas. Like once the rig's big when it's drilling, but it's horizontal, remember? So it doesn't just go straight down. It goes around and it grabs all the pockets of natural gas and stuff like that. But once you've done drilling and you're just putting up the capture mechanism for fracking, it's just a small little concrete platform, maybe 12 feet by 12 feet. And it's capturing the oil gas, and then it's sending it via a pipeline elsewhere. But that's it. It's sure as heck not 600 acres. And when you think about all of the carbon that has to be used to build those types of facilities, not only the solar arrays, but to install them and all the concrete that goes, I mean, one's wildly more efficient than the others.
Yeah, and the other part is we're not going to generate energy with this, but the part of me that definitely sits in the environmentalist camp says taking those 600 acres and planting rows of trees or crops could be much more beneficial use of the land than doing the solar farm. And that's one of the things that I've asked my green energy friends about a lot, that if we take these large pieces of acreage of solar panels and just replace them with forests of trees, isn't that overall technically better for the environment? If we're really concerned about sustainability, if we're really concerned about the quality of our air, if we're really concerned about scrubbing things like carbon and other things out of our air, if we're concerned about all of that carbon and stuff coming out of the back of the cars, one of the best ways to filter that on our planet are trees. It's one of the best ways. And I submit that when we have these 600 acreages of solar panels, things like trees might be a better use of the land if you're concerned about environmentalism, because in part we can put the solar panels elsewhere. They don't have to lay flat in a field. That has been proven. We do it around the Denver metro all the time. So we know where solar panels can go, and they don't have to sit on the ground. When you get solar installed in your house, where do they put it? It's not on the ground. They don't come in and lay it in your backyard, do they? They don't put it in your driveway. No.
And
so
we haven't even
solutions.
gotten into all the big power lines that are going up all across eastern Colorado to bring this energy. In fact, Excel now utilizing that ability to seize property, eminent domain, to claim ranches and their property out east in order to put this all up. It's a huge disaster. It's not necessary. It won't even work for the AI needs that the state is going to have. And yet, residents all along eastern Colorado are going to be punished as a result of it. We're going to talk with Carrie Giblets coming up here in just a second. Now is time, though, for news and comment. Mr. Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good morning. It is Friday, 37 and mostly clear in Denver, expecting a high of 61 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story.
Hey, everybody. Tina Peters was just granted a full pardon from President Trump moments ago. We need you to call the governor of Colorado, Jared Polis, and demand that he release her. She is a federal witness to a federal election crime in Mesa County, Colorado in 2020. She has the only images of the Dominion machines before and after the elections.
Ann Vandersteel, 47, says he'll grant former Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters a full pardon.
Now, Blake, Jacqueline's texting in saying they can't get through to the governor's office anymore.
Is that
it's
right?
just a constant busy signal.
Let's go. Let's go. Flood it.
Drive.
Yes, exactly. Flood it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He doesn't have the power. It doesn't matter. It's not a power he's granted by the Constitution.
No, we're
doesn't
talking
matter.
Jared Polis has the power. And
I know.
Call Jared Polis. Call.
Yeah, but the thing
right.
is that she's saying call him based on the pardon that Trump issued. Doesn't matter. His
Time to let her
pardon
go.
holds absolutely
We're going to go back
zero
to
weight.
the 6 o'clock hour.
Have a heart.
Zero weight, though.
Where are the people with hearts? You know, come on. Here's Carrie Lake.
To throw her behind bars, the same corrupt people in Colorado who were behind the election malfeasance. And when she was trying to say, we're going to collect the evidence and make sure that we are responsible to the voters and the taxpayers, they throw her in jail for that, in prison for that. She's a woman who's got health problems, and I'm afraid if we don't get her out, that she'll die behind bars.
Does she have a doctor's note at all, or any sort of a doctor's analysis? Has she been seen by a doctor?
That needs to happen. I will absolutely admit that has been this bizarre gap that needs to take place. She needs to be evaluated by a doctor.
And that's why I want to point that out. When people sit here and say she's an older woman and she's suffering from these health problems, she needs to be let out. There is no doctor that says that so far. That would help if she wants to make the claim that she can get out. Also, it's amazing how many people get released from jail and it's safe. It's like you have the healing waters splashed on you as you walk out of jail. All of a sudden now it's wonderful.
Wait, people who call in claiming to be sick?
Just saying, I know.
Or work, go skiing? I've never heard of such a thing.
Hey, I got stories for you that happened in high school. My son, who works in the attendance office at one local high school, is still surprised how often kids still call in and go, "Hi, this is Bill's dad. He's not going to be at work today." Yeah. He's like, "Really?"
There's a whole movie in the 80s about this.
Exactly.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Exactly. They still try to Ferris
Never
Bueller
heard of it.
Still.
That is funny. I'd like to hear that story.
Dude, there's so many of them. It's ridiculous.
I bet. Colorado.
Kids calling from their own cell phones. Yeah, I know. They haven't thought their clever plan all the way through. But again, they're still learning in high school. So what do we say?
Hey, Bobby, get over here. The video game's almost ready to start.
That's exactly what it is. Yes.
Colorado's unemployment rate dropped slightly in September. The Colorado Department of Labor and Employment says that 134,000 people filed for unemployment in September, a reduction of 4,800 from the previous month. They were late with the data due to the Schumer shutdown, of course. A massage therapist who has worked with children with disabilities has been arrested on sexual assault charges in Arapahoe County. 39-year-old Christopher Ost is facing 2 counts of felony sexual assault on a child and 3 counts of invasion of privacy for sexual gratification. The Maryland Man, starring Kilmar Abrego Garcia. In this scene, he remains free from ICE custody. A federal county judge has blocked the Trump administration from re-detaining him at a scheduled check-in today. In the next scene, a hearing will take place on a temporary restraining order filed by his attorneys. And this movie may never end. DJT says he'll support whoever runs against the Indiana State Senate's top Republican. Lawmakers there voted against a redistricting plan to give the GOP more seats on Capitol Hill. Scott Jennings on CNN.
Just goes to show you that Republicans are rookies when it comes to redistricting. We are nowhere near as practiced or ruthless when it comes to redistricting as these Democrats. You get state after state after state where Republicans have virtually no representation in Congress at all. Illinois is already one of the most, if not the most, gerrymandered state in the nation. So make no mistake, gerrymandering is a Democratic skill set. Republicans are still pikers when it comes to this. But I got to tell you, what you heard tonight is what they're going to do. They're ruthless. Democrats have shut down the government. They've told the military to stop following orders. They're trying to redraw maps. This is the future with Democrats, a ruthless kind of politics, and Republicans better wake up to it.
Germany asking the U.S. to join a meeting next week to discuss a possible ceasefire in Ukraine. The meeting will be in Berlin and include Zelensky and several other EU and NATO leaders. Same thing. They're all his bosses. Same group. The man accused of murdering Charlie Kirk appeared in court Thursday for the first time in person. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson attended a pre-trial hearing wearing street clothes instead of a jail jumpsuit to avoid potential jury bias. Erica Kirk has done several TV and media interviews this week. One of them airs tomorrow on CBS with Barry Weiss.
The podcaster Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
Candace Owens says she hasn't lied and listed 13 verified lies by people in TPUSA during her investigation.
Charlie Kirk's team did not fly drones. Major lie. Brian Harpole told that lie. Brian Harpole also told a major lie when he said that the security had communicated with UVU police to secure those rooftops. That was a lie. It was actually the walkway behind. What am I getting here? What have I done here in this presentation that I lied about? Have I made mistakes along the way? Yes, I'm not perfect, and I will always adjust those mistakes. So I'm asking you to tell me what I lied about. Why is there not this same energy also for the feds?
And then she showed a long list of Fed lies the last 3 months during the investigation. Stay tuned. Avalanche in town last night, and they beat the Panthers 6-2. They're 22-2-7. Nathan McKinnon leads a balanced scoring attack. The Nuggets in California and Sacramento, and they beat the Kings 136-105. Jokic with 36 points and 12 rebounds. It's the 11th straight road win for them. Broncos preparing for the Packers on Sunday at Mile High, going for 11 straight wins. And Bo Nix talking about facing Micah Parsons this weekend.
He's one of the best players in the league for a reason. He's going to make his plays. We just have to limit those plays and don't make them game-changing. So, he's a great player, and he's backed by a great defense, and so we definitely got our work cut out for us.
College football, Army-Navy tomorrow at 1 o'clock. 35 in Castle Rock, 34 in Superior, 36 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Billy. Blake Olson, TGIF, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Very mild, sometimes windy conditions along the Front Range today. Temperatures way above average, reaching the low to mid-60s today as Pacific air will win out, keeping Arctic air well to our north and east over the course of the next several days. Today through probably Tuesday, dry and mild conditions will prevail. Low to mid-60s today, low to mid-30s tonight, a little cooler. Upper 50s to near 60 for Friday and Saturday, staying mild probably through Tuesday. A bit of a change in the weather around Wednesday. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Well, you're about to see the eastern plains of Colorado radically transformed due to the progressive effort to have totally green energy by 2050. And in order to do that, in order to shut down the coal plants and get rid of fracking and all your natural gas, and yes, your gas fireplace, they need to build a lot of windmills and solar panels all over the eastern part of Colorado. But it's not just enough to build them out there. You have to pipe in that energy via these really big power lines. No, we're not talking those small ones that are just alongside a rural country road. We're talking really big power lines along a 550-mile transmission line that will cross not only Elbert County, but also El Paso County. County commissioners in both these counties going, no, we're not doing it. The residents don't want it. And Xcel Energy going, too bad. We're going to use eminent domain. We're taking it. We're going to affect your ranches. We're going to affect your entire community. But we have the mandates from the state capitol. We are going to do it. Well, some are not putting up with it, and they're fighting. Carrie Giblets with Elbert County Environmental Alliance, helping stand up against all that. Carrie, thank you for taking time to join the Jeff and Bill Show.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us about some of these battles. What are you hearing from your neighbors? There was recently a meeting with the Public Utilities Commission about all this. Give folks an overview of what you're hearing from your neighbors.
Well, this is a battle that's been going on for a little over 4 years now. Xcel is wanting to put high voltage transmission lines through the heart of our county. And this part of the county is spectacularly beautiful. And it's filled with small ranches, large ranches, people who have worked their entire lives to live out here. And Xcel wants to put their high voltage power lines right through the middle of it. So my neighbors and I are saying, no, this is not the appropriate place for high voltage transmission lines.
And I find it wildly ironic in that in the name of environmentalism, they're going to destroy the beautiful environmental beauty of eastern Colorado.
Exactly. They'll clear cut our forests. They'll ruin migration corridors for all the wildlife that we have out here. Elbert County is home to deer, antelope, elk, bear, mountain lion, and where they're going is a huge migration corridor. So they will be destroying all of that in the name of saving the environment.
Unbelievable. That's Carrie Giblets. She's with Elbert County Environmental Alliance. Tell us about the Elbert County Environmental Alliance. What are you seeking to do?
Okay, so ECEA is a nonpartisan, nonprofit, grassroots organization that was formed a little over 4 years ago. It's mostly people in our county who are banding together to find an alternative for Elbert County's route, for Xcel's route through Elbert County. We've been working with local officials. We've met several times with Xcel representatives, and we're just trying to find an alternative for what it is they're trying to do.
I appreciate that y'all are trying to find an alternative. This reminds me a lot of the Wolf vote, in the sense that the people that have created and generated this problem don't actually have to deal with it. So, for instance, most of the people that voted for wolves came from Boulder and Highlands Ranch, Jefferson County. They don't actually have to deal with the wolves. It was the people up on the Western Slope that had to. Well, you had a number of progressive lawmakers down at the state capitol who said, 2050, we want to have totally green environmentalism. We don't actually have to build all this stuff in our backyard. Somebody else has to. And the somebody else is actually starting to speak up, going, well, these are going to be major problems. What have you heard from county commissioners, local elected officials, about what they can do to try to stop this or find an alternative route?
Well, the county commissioners have denied Xcel's permits. They've told them no, that they're not allowed to put their project through. So that's why Xcel has sued the county in district court. They have filed an appeal with the Public Utilities Commission. They're trying everything that they can do to get the county commissioner's decision overturned.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
So,
and I heard it's coming from El Paso County, too, that their county commissioners are trying to fight this as well. And you mentioned an alternative pathway. Is there one out there for these transmission lines to be able to go without having to use eminent domain?
There are routes in the east. In the eastern part of the state, there are already transmission corridors. It's a much better location for these lines because, one, there are no forests out there. They don't have quite the amount of wildlife that we have here in central Elbert County. There are larger parcels of land, which means they would be going through ranches that are thousands of acres large instead of 5 acres large. So they would impact far fewer people. When they had a meeting out in that area in Lyman, that is the only time I have heard anybody say they would be willing to have transmission pole in their property. Nobody in this area has ever said that they would be willing.
So just to be clear on that, there is a pathway. There are people that are going, Xcel Energy pay me to just run some lines through my property? Sure, I have no problem with that. Those exist, but Xcel is ignoring those and seeking to run it their route. Do you know why they're doing that?
My guess is cost. They have said that it's much cheaper to run the lines through this route. It's a more direct route, so it would cost them more money to go farther east.
Now, I want to put a point on that very importantly here, and I think that's important, that there are people, according to what we're hearing right now, that are saying, yes, we would allow Xcel Energy to rent or lease some of the land to run these lines, but Xcel is just saying, no, they're not in the right places. We don't want to do it that way. We want to make it more or less expensive for us. It would be easier if we did this. And that sort of, again, in my mind, fights against their argument that they're going out there and offering people money to possibly give them access to their land. If it's not in the right place, they're just going to come and take it. So the idea is they really don't have no interest in my core, and where I'm pointing this out is at their core, I feel Xcel has zero interest in actually paying anybody to get access to the land or lease the land, because when it's the wrong place, they say no. If they were really interested in making this work, if they were really interested in using the land that was up for lease with the landowners that would acquiesce and want to have an agreement with them, then that's where they would run it. There's a reason why the squiggly road running all the way out to DIA is just squiggly road. It's not in a straight line because it had to touch everybody's land. The right people had to get access to the right places on that damn road. That's why it's squiggly. It's not a straight line. And that's what I'm seeing here, but in reverse. Xcel Energy has the opportunity to run it somewhere else with people that'll rent it to them, and they're like, no, we want to do it where it's less expensive for us, not where the people want to put it. It's crap.
I would agree. I also feel like they're... Oh, go ahead.
No. By all means, go ahead, Carrie.
I also feel that they've chosen this route because this route opens the entire county up for wind and solar development, whereas if it were farther east, they couldn't develop the whole county. They can put wind and solar projects within 35 miles of the transmission line. So going through the center of the county gives them more opportunity.
I guess what drives me crazy about all this is math, reality, because AI is the future. We all see it. It's all being developed. It requires a tremendous amount of energy in which solar and wind are not going to be able to provide it. We all know that what's necessary at the end of this road is small-scale nuclear. Everybody knows that. Anybody that does math on energy knows that eventually that's where we want to go. And, fracking can help us get there for a while, but energy developed from solar and wind does not meet the needs for the development of industry, business, and even keeping our homes warm. And yet, we're going to go fundamentally transform the eastern plains of the state with wind and solar. Those aren't easy things to either put up or take down. And they're big. I mean, multiple hundreds of acres. Then we're going to seize property from people in order to build very big, tall transmission lines against their own will. We're going to go to court. We're going to fight this. So the amount of money, the amount of energy to put the state in a dead end is mind-numbingly stupid to me. I don't know. Carrie, do you want to respond to that?
I would agree with you. And just the money that's being spent just on this fight is incredible. If Xcel would have taken the alternate route earlier, they would have saved so much time. They would have saved so much money. The cost of materials has increased exponentially. The cost of lawsuits, just so much money has been spent that could have been saved. And then the money that landowners here are having to spend to fight the eminent domain. We have residents who are emptying their savings, emptying their retirements, going upside down on their mortgage, trying to pay attorneys to save their property.
What are you hearing from attorneys? I mean, eminent domain is a pretty strong force to allow entities like Xcel to just take what they want. Is there hope here, you think?
I've been hopeful from the start, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this. But I think that there is hope. Right now, the case is before the Public Utilities Commission. We had a public hearing on Tuesday night, I think it was, and there were over 200 people there who all spoke out against it. The Public Utilities Commission appeared to listen. So we're hoping that they will do the right thing and have Xcel come back to the table and work with the county to find a mutually acceptable route. So I am hopeful.
But Carrie Giblets over at County Environmental, what I'm looking at is, have you seen the giant pile of money that Xcel Energy has? Because, I understand that we got a lot of people that are concerned in the community, and they're like, this is wrong. This is our land. These are our rights. We got to keep this. This is why we live here. This is why. And then Xcel comes along and goes, money. And then the people stand there and go, but our rights and our land, and this will change your lifestyle. And Xcel goes, giant pile of money. Have you seen the dump trucks of money? We are going to back up. And then they go, money makes a good argument. Oddly enough, money seems to make a great argument so many times. And that's what I'm really afraid of at the core of this, is that Xcel is going to make the argument that, hey, money, and the idea of rates for the entire state. And it makes absolutely no sense. I still think that personally, they're putting the solar farms in the wrong place. They're running the trunk lines in the wrong way. They're doing it in the wrong community. And everything about this stinks from top to bottom. I feel, Carrie, that you, Jeff, and I could sit down with a bunch of third graders and we could probably invent a better way to utilize solar panels inside of the metro area of Denver that could probably achieve the same goals. We probably could get really inventive and creative about how to best maximize infrastructure that already exists rather than going and destroying, in my opinion, I'm saying destroying land that we need elsewhere in Colorado that can be so much more useful in a variety of ways. Earlier in the hour, talked about the idea that, just going out there in those same areas and planting a bunch of trees, in my opinion, has a greater environmental impact than anything you do with solar farms. That if you're really concerned about the environment, you preserve the environment. You don't drop electrical solar panel fields on top of it.
I would agree 100%.
And they're not going to listen to either one of us.
And here's the problem. So we're not just dealing with Excel, we're dealing with the Public Utilities Commission. I just want to remind everybody that the PUC, not but a week ago, decided that those natural gas fireplaces, stoves, water heaters in your home have got to go. And
at your expense.
At your expense.
That's the important part.
These are the same people. Yeah. Same people. PUC, Public Utilities Commission. So they want all of us to shiver in our homes like good little communists. And these are the people going to be making the decisions with regards to solar. I don't have a lot of hope other than perhaps the voters wake up and realize that the future of this state is not going to be built on solar and wind. The math doesn't work. It's got to go towards nuclear. We'll see. Carrie Giblets, Elbert County Environmental Alliance. How can people listening to this interview get involved with the good work you're doing?
They can go to our website, and it's ecealliance.org. And there's a place at the bottom where they can sign up to be on our update list and sign up to help. That would be great. They can send letters to the PUC. Right now they are accepting letters, public comment about the appeal that Excel has filed. So that would be a great way to help.
All ways you can get involved. This is going to directly affect a lot of really good people in Elbert and El Paso County. Salt of the earth. People out there ranching, farming, who've had ranches in their family for generations, now ripped up, destroyed by Excel. They don't care. They're driving through and making these impacts. And there's good people like Carrie Giblets fighting this with the Elbert County Environmental Alliance. We all know what Colorado needs to eventually do. Let's not go down the stupid pathway of ruining eastern Colorado and what's going to ultimately put us in an energy dead end. Carrie Giblets, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's talk Dan Caplis Law. Dan suggests you should choose a lawyer who shares your values because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everybody involved in the case. Dan Caplis, the son of a police officer and a former seminarian who's dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping people who've been hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado history. Dan Caplis Law delivered a major victory, $200 million verdict for a family who lost a young girl in the Glenwood Springs amusement park accident, not just because of the terrible tragedy, but because of his investigative prowess. He was able to discover that the company had a policy that it trained its employees to override alarms. The seatbelt alarm was going off. The alarm was going off. The employee trained by the company overrid that alarm and resulted in the death of a young lady.
Yeah, we got to talk about that for a second there, Jeff. That you got to understand that when you call Dan Caplis, this is the type of investigation that his team has the ability to do. He created that sort of Perry Mason type moment where it's like, and under the mask, it's whoosh, oh my God, Old Man Jenkins. Yeah, that's Scooby-Doo-ish. That's what they did. He was able to pull off the mask and take apart the entire defense of the amusement park by showing they had policies in place. You want that type of Perry Mason moment. You want that type of courtroom drama. You want someone that's going to be doing the background work that is going to overturn every leaf and look under every single possible bush to give you the best defense. Your best option out there is Dan Kaplis. They're going to work night and day to make sure you are put back together whole, to make sure you get the justice you need. That's the kind of stuff they deliver, just exactly what Jeff is talking about.
In fact, they are so trusted that Dan Kaplis Law is the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Kaplis Law, a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call, 303-770-5551. In fact, put it in your phone right now, because if you're in an accident, you need help, you can call him right away. You're not having to Google him. Dan Kaplis Law. Here's the phone number, 303-770-5551. You can go to dankaplislaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S law.com. What do you think about the transformation of eastern Colorado to embrace massive hundreds of acres of solar in order to meet Jared Polis and the Democrats' 2050 plan to be totally off fossil fuels? Do you think that's good? Look, this is the future. We're green. That's part of the beauty of Colorado. Or is it not going to meet our needs? That it's going to collapse the system? Everything's going to get more expensive. We're building a tremendous amount of wasteful low-power energy development when we know that with AI energy requirements coming, it's going to have to be nuclear. That's the only solution to this. And are you willing to have nuclear power in Colorado? Give us a call. Join the conversation, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Kaplis Law text line, 720-819-5115, 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS. This is such a cute song.
What is an instrument?
Oh, I'm not sure at the beginning. I have to go back and look. Yeah, that's got to be wind instruments in there.
Yeah, it's a wind instrument. I just don't know what that is.
You know the story behind this one? Why Gene Autry eventually penned this one?
Go for it.
Because he was involved in all of those, Thanksgiving Day parades. But he is such a big star. They put him late in the parade, and he is normally like right before or 2 floats in front of Santa Claus. And he said, so the entire time he's this big star going through the parade, and all he hears is, "Here comes Santa Claus! Oh my God, Mommy! Here comes Santa Claus! Mommy!" And so he's like, well, damn it. So that's the inspiration for the song, is the fact that all the kids were yelling, not paying attention to him, and they're looking for Santa Claus behind him. Yeah.
We are talking Elbert County residents continuing to fight over Xcel power lines in Colorado. It's part of a major transformation happening on the Eastern Plains in order to fit the Democrats' 2050 no more fossil fuel agenda. Is it going to work? I mean, it's so stupid in my mind. The amount of solar panels that have to be built, wind, it's huge. These are hundreds of acres. Then you have these giant transmission lines bringing it into Denver. It's not going to meet the needs. Mathematically, it just won't meet the needs. To a point, I agree with Jason here. The best solution is using every energy source we have: coal, gas, nuclear, wind, solar. I think the road, like we all say, we're all going to be in driverless cars in 10 years, right? We know where it's going. It's going to be nuclear because it can provide the amount of power necessary for where society's going, which is not less power, it's more power. And wind and solar is not going to provide that. But let's get to the phone line. Scott in Parker. Good morning, Scott. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning, guys. I appreciate you not playing that racist Jingle Bell song on the way in.
We're talking about that in a bit.
We're getting to that later in the show, but go ahead.
There you go. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't think we should be, using eminent domain to put solar panels and high tension power lines and things of that nature all over the state. Unfortunately, I think it's inevitable given the fact that, the Front Range crazies, voted to reintroduce the wolves on the western slope where they don't live, so it doesn't affect them. I expect the same group of people will vote people in that will approve this because they don't care about the Eastern Plains, and they'll go ahead and say it's best for the environment, what have you. I agree with Jason. It's got to be the all-the-above approach, although I would like to hear, what we're going to do with the spent fuel from the nuclear plants.
Yeah.
Maybe give it to Elon and have him put it on a SpaceX rocket and shoot it to the sun.
Send it up.
Whatever the case might be. But I think it's inevitable that we're going to end up there.
Yeah, and to that point with regards to spent rods, I've been reading Thomas Sowell's Basic Economics, which I recommend everybody do. Once your kid's into early high school, they can handle it. It's brilliant. But he talks about how the capitalism free market systems all based upon multiple use of resources, right? So, for instance, milk is just a single resource, but it can be made into cottage cheese, all sorts of different things that utilize milk. So what is brilliant about free market development is that anytime somebody develops something that others may see as waste, we find ways to use it and to benefit. We don't just stick it in the ground. I think Elon Musk probably would find some way to do with it, and that's the brilliant of American ingenuity and capitalism. But Scott, I really appreciate the call. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Scott.
Guys, let's talk L&L heating and air conditioning. As you know, Colorado's unpredictable weather can be all over the place. One day it's 70 and sunny. The next, you're reaching for that thermostat. That's why I trust the team at L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. They've helped Colorado families stay comfortable for years with honest pricing, reliable service, and that small-town integrity that's hard to find. I've been to their operations. It's right out there. They've got offices in Parker as well as out in Elizabeth. Wonderful. I mean, this is not a corporate entity. This is mom and dad, hardworking, trying to make our communities better with just good service. Right now, they're offering a furnace system evaluation for just $59.95. And if another company is trying to sell you something big, L&L will give you a complimentary second opinion so you can make the right call. And here's a bonus. With any new furnace or AC installation, you'll get a free programmable thermostat or carbon monoxide detector, plus no trip fees. When they come out, no trip fees, next day installation, and 100% satisfaction guaranteed. They even offer military, first responder, and senior discounts because at L&L, they really do treat you like family. So when it's too hot or too cold, don't wait. Call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning or visit bestdenverhvac.com, bestdenverhvac.com. Trust me. You'll be comfortable with L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710 KNUS.
There's definitely a side of me that's kind of Scrooge-ish. Like, I will work up until Christmas Day.
Oh, wow. Really?
And so the idea I'm going to have to listen to this for 2 more weeks.
Really? Oh, wow. I didn't know you were this grouchy about it. These are wonderful.
Bah humbug's a great phrase.
Oh.
Allows you to express your frustration.
Because this is like old Irving Berlin. This is like late 40s. Yeah, I think it was originally written.
It's not a bad
I think it was
song.
written originally
I'm just
for a
gonna
movie.
listen to this for 2 weeks. Yeah, the people that turn on Cozy for like a month.
Oh, that's
what is up with you?
I have got a child that the day they go Christmas, that is all she listens to.
Really?
It is. Oh yeah, 110%. Christmas is her absolute favorite time of the year. She loves it, and it is constant carols, and she is just
Get back to work.
Oh, she's a constant little elf. She's amazing. This is like her happiest time of the year, and I really enjoy Christmas music. And there's so many just unique versions of it. You've got the core artist, and we'll walk through some stuff. Maybe I'll give you a little bit of appreciation because again, that's old Irving Berlin. That's some great stuff there. That's as far as it's written.
Get back to work. What is it? Cratchit?
Cratchit. Bob Cratchit.
Bob Cratchit. Get
Bob
back
Cratchit.
to work.
Yes, yeah. You're Scrooging us today already.
I will be Scrooge for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, this will
me.
be fun.
All right.
Again, we find out all these differences between the show. This is fantastic.
Let's go to Jay in Henderson. Good morning, Jay. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning. So I got a bunch for you since I'm an electrical engineer. First of all, without subsidies, there would be no windmills at all. They're not practical, and it doesn't make much sense. Out at Pawnee Power Plant, it's owned by Xcel, out in that Fort Morgan area, there's more than enough room to add more generators. And one thing a lot of people in Colorado don't know, before we had Xcel, we had Public Service Company of Colorado, and there was supposed to be another generator put in at the Valmont station right there off of Arapahoe Road by Boulder. And the people in Boulder bitched about it so much to the PUC that the PUC cowered, and the rest of the state of Colorado had to pay for the new power lines from the Cherokee power plant out to Boulder for their growth. There's still that spot out there at the Valmont station.
Oh, I want wolves, but not in my backyard. I want energy, but not in my backyard, basically.
Right. And
wow.
there's another thing. So the other technical thing that's kind of interesting that nobody seems to be addressing is that wind and solar panels are not able to restart the grid. They just do not have enough power to do it if we were to lose it. And so to say that we can do this without coal, maybe so, but you better have a replacement for it.
Yeah, I think.
And not anybody right now is proposing any of that other stuff.
That's I think, Jay, I appreciate you highlighting that because I think that is one of the biggest problems that we are having in this idea about how we are going to chart the path forward as far as energy development over the next several decades. Is it seems to be it's a one or the other. And people are saying we either have to do this or that. I fail to see why it can't be at some point or another and all of the above. Because just like when you're rolling down that buffet over Thanksgiving or Christmas, that you're going to pick and choose things that make the best sense for what you want. And sometimes you get more mashed potatoes, sometimes more cranberries, sometimes it's all ham. And I think that's the approach that we need to have as energy as well. Understand that there's a core here based on oil and gas, but supplementing it with wind, solar, nuclear, hydrothermal, all of that can be and is necessary if we want to grow. But it's not an all or nothing, and I think that's where everybody falls apart.
Well, my biggest deal with regard to Republicans and Democrats is one of the parties, and it's the Democrats, that don't understand the cause and effect problem. And it seems to be a part of their brain that's missing. And this is one of the things that needs to come up in the power discussion. And the number one is, what do you do when the whole thing shuts down?
Yep.
And can you restart it? And you can't. You've got to have something else. And so, yes, I agree with having a variety of different things that put it in.
Jay, that's not the point. The point is they want you to shiver in your house with no heat, eating crickets, with no children, like a good little communist you should be.
Because all the rich people have all the money and they can burn in the fireplace. They'll stay warm, right?
Speaking of Scrooge. All right, great call. I appreciate it. We'll be right back. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is KNUS.